2-2 the final score. That means Forge is going through and Valour is going home. Welcome inside our studios. My name is Brennan Dunlap. Happy to be joined by Josh Globe from The Athletic and Kurt Larson.
Never been to Winnipeg.
OneSoccer Expert.
I've been to Winnipeg.
But you're rocking the Valour shirt, and now we see them going home.
I'm going to tell you guys why in a little bit as well.
Okay, well, let's get to it. Look at the standings and see why this has happened here. Valour below the cutoff line. They could not finish in the top four. Huge game coming up today. Forge through on 12 points, although they haven't officially locked up top spot. But as expected, Forge have clinched. They will go through to the next round, finishing in the core four. But Valour had a real chance. And, you know, they dazzled, they surprised, I think, a lot of people in this tournament. But now they're out. Is there one thing you can point to as to why they've not gone through?
Well, there's probably a few things. I'm sure Kurt has the best reason lined up. But to my eyes, what hit me here was just their inability to finish, right? Third most shots in the tournament. That's great. They're eager. They're attacking the goal. And this first half, they really attacked the game, which was great to see. But for that third most shots, second lowest expected goals, right? So they're not making the most of their chances. Going into the offseason, and I mentioned this in the pregame show, Rob Gale needs to find a tried and true number 9. That's a hard, position to fill, but to me, that's the difference between this team being, a team on the fringe and a really, really good team. I don't know where you find that player right now. I don't know if it comes from within the league. I don't know if you have to go outside of the league, but I don't know if there's a team, maybe Edmonton, maybe Halifax, but I don't know if there's a team that needs a really good, dependable number 9 more than Valour.
I'm glad Valour's going home. And
wow.
That might surprise you now that I'm wearing a Valour kit today. But the reason is because I think they gave literally everything they have to give in the tournament. I think if they went on, I don't think it would have, the players are injured. Jean-Baptiste is out. O'Heen's out. Top players are out. I think they gave everything they had in this tournament. Not sure they could have snuck into the playoffs maybe, but not sure they could have done much better. And it was a good show. I mean, coming into this season, one of the knocks against Rob Gale last year was that did he have the commitment of his players? Did he have the backing of his players? You remember the 8-1 or 8-0 loss last year to Calgary? This Valour team is not losing like that anymore. They're competing every game.
Yep.
So we can talk about, not having enough up front. That's true. But I think Rob got the most out of his side in the tournament.
Unprecedented season, of course, unprecedented conditions to come together, but this team definitely fought for their coach. Let's hear from Rob Gale now.
Rob, is that another one where with the performance you maybe feel like you left some points on the table?
Yeah, what can I say? I feel like a bit Groundhog Day in good chances. Just disappointing to concede the one off a set piece when we tried to get a substitution on the throw-in. I don't know why we weren't allowed. We needed to replace a man. And then soft free kick, and we had to sub defending a set piece and didn't quite get organised, and that was disappointing. But look, how many more injuries again? Rafahin, Arnold got nailed straight away as he come on. Johann's battled through the last 20 minutes, also coming back from injury. I mean, monumental. I'm so proud of the boys to leave it all out there. It wasn't this game that cost us. It was second half against Pacific when we should have put them to the sword, and the Halifax game. So I couldn't be prouder of their effort, commitment, the quality and desire of the group has been absolutely first class. We're just disappointed to be leaving, really, because I think we've proven it. We can match anybody in this league.
How challenging was it, not just during the game, but before the game as well, to be having to chop and change based on those injuries?
Yeah, I'd love to have had a week. I said it against the York game. I said it against Pacific when we only had 2 days rest for the 4th time in a row. We'd love to have a full week of preparation and tackle these teams with our full team, because we're that good and create that many chances and that much effort against the top team in this league. And we're on dead legs. We had 10 men for the last 20 minutes and we still put in 3 or 4 unbelievable great chances and a great shot for a penalty late on as well. And the youngster, credit to him, came up with a big save, so well done.
This result does mean the end of the road, but how much can you take away from this tournament, having brought back only 7 players from last year? Yeah,
we knew what we needed to do. We did it. I think you can see. It's hard to judge this group on what we've come out with. I think we're worth at least 12 points. But it is what it is. We didn't put teams to the sword. So we'll address that and we'll fix that. But they battled for the trench back home. They battled for Valour. They battled for Winnipeg and Manitoba. They're a great group of lads. I've got nothing but positive going forward, and I'm super proud of them to a man. No one else has had the same injuries we've had. There's 9 injured players there, so we had 14. So, like I said, you would have been playing and we progressed, and it's just unfortunate we didn't get it done when we were dominant in halves of football and should have scored more chances when we could have finished other teams off in this tournament. And now, unfortunately, we have to face the effects, and we're heading home.
Thank you.
Rob Gale, so familiar with tournament play from his work with the national program. He took a team together to PEI that didn't know each other, just 7 pieces returning. I think they can walk away from this and hold their heads pretty high for what they left on PEI.
Yeah, I wouldn't be wearing their kit otherwise. I think it's about more than finding a number 9 for Rob Gale in the offseason. Obviously, that's going to prove difficult. I think they have some guys that would be on my bench. A Richie, these guys, Fordyce, we didn't really see much of him this tournament.
No, we didn't.
The challenge for Rob Gale is going to be, what do you do with the players that you brought in on loan? Because they're probably going to lose their goalkeeper, who's been one of the best of the tournament. Julian Dunn, back to TFC, one of the best center backs in the tournament. So there's other guys who came in on loan now who are likely going to leave. So it's about replacing them too. That's going to be difficult.
You know, I think back to their first game of this tournament, and you know, I was pretty critical of them, and I got hammered for being pretty critical of them. But when you look at how they've performed throughout this tournament, something Rob Gale mentions here in his post-game comments, he's talking about emotion, commitment, that fight, that spirit. That, I think, to me, ended up being one of the defining kind of elements of this Valour team, is that they kind of embodied Rob Gale in a way. They were scrappy, they fought to the last minute, and I think now you have kind of a model of the player that you want to build your squad moving forward. You want to find those kind of scrappy, full 90-minute players that are going to, you know, probably play a little bit physical and fight, right? And I think that's the kind of player that Rob Gale can look towards.
Who expected Valour to come in today and play that hard? With all the players missing, no chance to go through pretty much.
But I think they had to, right? I said in the pregame show, they had to really just attack. And their first half was tremendous, right? They dominated. But ultimately, just being an injured team caught up with them over the full 90, right?
Just beaten down and battered.
Yeah.
You look at Forge, though. Forge had to fight until the very end. And, you know, sitting on 12 points, they haven't locked up top spot.
Yeah.
They are the North Star Shield winners. They are, you know, one of the 2 teams that everybody was chasing. Do they look like a championship caliber team yet? Or are they still playing up to their level?
No,
They still have to catch up.
No, but no one else does either, right? So we're going to see Calvary. We're going to see what shape York is in if they can pull it together. I don't think any team right now looks like they're on top. Now, granted, Forge had a ton of changes today. Brought in, 7 players off the bench that we probably won't see in a playoff situation, starting at least. But you're a little concerned if you're Bobby Smirniotis right now, because I don't think you know if your team is how fluid they are, if they're in form or not. So we'll see.
Does he know what his best 11 is? Because I look at all the tinkering. Obviously, today was a special example, but I don't think Bobby Smirniotis knows what his best 11 in this tournament setting is.
Maybe not, but the benefit of this tournament is that he has another 3 games. And I'm not saying you take all those 3 games to figure it out, but it's not a win and go home situation or lose and go home situation for this team. So he could probably, you know, depending on where they fall, he might, you know, face the 4th place team. So then you have an opportunity to kind of say, test a little bit more, right? But I still think if you're Bobby, you like what you have. Like, this is a competitive team, right? They were getting angry throughout the entire game. And I think that's something, that spirit is something you want to see moving forward.